Good morning. Well, if you didn't already know, I'm going to be a mom. And if you didn't already know, I'm going to be the mother of a daughter. So, yeah, we're having a little girl, which is all very exciting. Um, but I couldn't help but notice the feelings of anxiety that I got, or just, yeah, feelings of anxiety that I got when I realized that it was a girl that I was having. And I honestly, although just finding out the sex in general can make the pregnancy a little bit more real, I still think I wouldn't have felt this way if I had thought that I was having a boy. And I don't think that the feelings that I have, the thing about feeling a certain way, whether it's like anxious, depressed, happy, excited, sometimes as humans, we place way too much importance on the story, and it's like, it all boils down to the fact that you had a poor relationship with your father, or it all boils down to, this one instance in your life. It's like when somebody has anxiety over dogs or a fear of dogs because at one point in their life when they were, much younger, they had a bad experience with a dog. I'm just trying to find a stone to sit on. They had a bad experience with a dog and it scarred them for life. And now every time they see a dog, they get filled with anxiety and it just becomes their story. They've made this one instance in their life their entire story, and you can't keep applying the same story to yourself that happened like years and years and years ago because, people change, you change, the scenario changes, the dog changes. So, like, you can't apply the same anxiety to every single dog. Which is why I think that sometimes, we do place way too much importance on why we feel a certain way in a certain circumstance. That's my own opinion anyway, and I've felt that it's been a benefit to me to sometimes, just put the story to rest, accept that I feel a certain way in a certain situation, and try to move on from it and try to, change how I feel in that situation rather than just let that be like, that's who I am. Nevertheless, I have a feeling of anxiety and I wonder to myself, why do I feel this way? Like, why does it make me a little bit more anxious to be having a girl as opposed to having a boy? And I mean, there's a number of reasons. One, I suppose having a girl was more of a shock to me because my husband comes from a very male dominated, not orientated too, but dominated family. He's got all brothers, so his mother has only ever raised boys, and his dad comes from an all boys family. So it's just all his cousins tend to be, most of them are boys. He's got like just mostly boy cousins, and it's just, it's a sports center, it's football academy, it's just very much like a male centered household. And I just assumed that, it would just almost make more sense in some ways to have a girl or to have a boy. And now suddenly being given this girl, it's just it kind of spices things up. It changes things a little bit. And it's not what I envisioned, I mean, I like to envision my life a little bit, envision my future. The visions change all the time, but I do envision it. And yeah, I'd been envisioning a boy, to be honest. And now here I am with a girl. And, it's wonderful, really. So there's that it threw me by surprise. And then also, I suppose there's as a mother, you feel more, I feel anyway, like not more responsibility over a girl as opposed to a boy, but like, you know, there's going to be a lot of things that Dan just won't be able to answer for her, that it'll be, if she wants to know the answers from me or what my opinion is on it, it's going to have to be either me or my sister, but or just a female, it could be my mother-in-law. When it comes to like girl stuff, menstruation, like all those kind of things, it's going to be me that she's probably going to ask, I imagine. So I suddenly feel, like a little bit more like, okay, I'm actually responsible for you becoming a woman. Just like I suppose a man might feel more responsible for making his son into a man. Maybe not, but that's just a line of thought. And then finally, the worst one, the one I don't like. I have this feeling of anxiety, and it comes from what I don't think is like an innate feeling. I think it's totally and utterly just like social conditioning to make me feel this way. Like, you know, like the idea of like, oh, the apple of his daughter's eye, and how once you've got a little girl, you know, it's another woman in your husband's life, and she becomes the number one woman in your husband's life. Like my mum even said to me when I told her I was having a girl, she was like, oh, wait to take the back, you know, get ready to take the back seat with Dan, you know, she's going to be number one to him, just like you are with your dad. Do you want me to throw something for you, Leone? You're my little girl though, aren't you? Like, anyway, but Caesar's my favourite. I'm only joking. The little boy dog. Oh. But my relationship, even with my dogs, like I've got a girl and a boy, and my relationship with the boy is very different to the one that I have with the girl. I can't explain that. But I suppose it's just because they're two different dogs too, like they have different natures, so I'm really going to treat them both the same. I'm really going to, yeah, like, anyway. So yeah, there's that, like, it's just like this weird, like my sister even made the joke, like, oh, she's gonna hate you, like, you know, daughters hate their mothers, which isn't true, like, because I obviously don't hate my mother. But I did make a video once talking about how I hated my mother because there was this like weird, bad energy, anxiety between the two of us, and I don't know, is that like, you know, there's sometimes with mothers and daughters, is it like the female energy can be just like overpowering sometimes, or I don't know, like, you know, do they connect with their dad because they're trying to find like a yin to their yang? They're kind of like balance themselves out a little bit. I've no idea. I'd like to delve into that a little bit more. But, excuse me. Taking the back seat with Dan. Becoming the second woman in his life. I feel gut instinct now. How I genuinely feel, as opposed to how people are telling me I should feel that is nonsense. I feel that is complete and utter nonsense, because I just know the relationship that Dan and I have, and Dan is, you know, just unbelievably special to me. He's a being that I honestly feel like I've met him in so many, like, I feel that, like, you know, I've lived more than one lifetime. I feel all of us have. And I think I've met him in so many lifetimes. I feel we've lived so many lives together. And I think that we're going to live so many more together. He's my soulmate. He's my everything. We're very much in sync. And we're partners. Like, we're partners in this lifetime, 100% to the very end. That's how I feel. And I think being parents is just, it's not going to in any way damage our relationship. And, you know, being parents of this little girl is not going to in any way damage our relationship. If anything, I think that it's maybe not with every relationship, maybe not every couple are supposed to be parents, but I certainly feel with Dan and I that, like, it's part of what, it's not that there's something missing in our relationship at all, but I know it's only going to enhance it. I know that it's when we become parents together, and even now I feel from the moment that I got pregnant, something clicked between Dan and I we hadn't made that connection. We've made so many other connections on so many levels, but that connection hadn't been made. And since then it's been made, and it's changed something. I can't even explain, you know, what it is. Like, is it a shift in energy, or a shift in attitudes, or, you know, a shift in behavior? Probably a shift in all those things, but something has shifted since I've become pregnant, and I feel it's gonna, you know, become even stronger once we actually have this little girl and become parents together. I think that Dan is gonna be an absolutely insanely wonderful parent, and if I'm totally honest, I know I'm going to be an insanely wonderful parent, you know. And I just think we're going to make a good team. So I don't worry that, like, I'm going to become second to him, because no, we're actually just going to go from being a unit of 2 to a unit of 3. You know, it doesn't matter that it's a girl, just like it wouldn't matter if it was a boy, you know. It's just, that happens to be the energy that's going to be there. It's going to be 2 female energies and a male energy. And And I'm not going to become second to Dan because it's different, you know. It's like, come on, Dan and I have been together for, you know, so many years before this girl even came along. This little girl comes along. And I don't know, it's such a different thing. Like, I honestly don't feel that way. But it's a hilarious idea that, like, you'd become... Because how is that even possible, right? Because if I even had a boy, it's not like the boy would become the number one man in my life and Dan would become the second. You know, they're two totally different things. They're different, like, one's your child and one's your husband. They're different relationships, you know. Like, it's the same nonsense idea of, like, as soon as you get married, your father becomes less important to you. Your father will always be your father, you know. It just means that you have a husband now as well. This idea that, like, oh, it's even just the idea of, like, only having, like, one love or the most important. Who's your best friend? But who's your number one best friend? I don't have a fucking number one best friend. I've got, like, numerous best friends. Like, it doesn't work like that. I don't think it works like that. But, you know, when you're back in school, they want to know who the number one best friend is. You have to have one best friend. Just one person. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It's not going to happen anyway. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll make a video talking about that once. Hopefully not. I doubt it, sincerely. Anyway, I'm going to go get ready, get started on my day. I'm actually off today. I'm going to go meet a friend, sit by a pool. Been working all week and it's been tough. So it's good to be off. It's not tough, but... it's a lot of work. Summer's over though now, pretty much. It is here, really. Anyway, kind of. So, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Peace out. I will do a pregnancy update pretty soon. Give you a shot of the bump if I haven't already. There it is. 6-month bump.